I am here today with Paul Jones at MicroLoc Workholding, and we'd like to share with you some really great work holding. So, Paul, can you tell us a little bit about MicroLoc?
Yeah, the MicroLoc system is a flexible work holding system. It's very modular, so well, flexibility is the key really. It means that you can clamp lots of similar parts in a very small space, or alternatively you could manipulate the clamping system to accommodate maybe one larger component over a bigger surface. But the most important thing is that you can change from one to the other very, very quickly and accurately as well.
And it looks like the plate sizes can actually change based on machine sizes, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, we've got a Vulcan machine here, which in the UK is supplied by the Engineering Technology Group. This is a vertical machining centre. It's got around about a 600 millimetre table by about 400 in the Y. And this grid plate has actually been machined to fit across the whole of that working envelope. So yeah, even if you had a metre machine, even a 2 metre machine we've seen them on, these grid plates can be machined and manufactured here in the UK to fit pretty much any machining centre.
And these grid plates allow for kind of standard offsets, right? Being able to standardize operations to switch products in and out when necessary.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we've all seen it, and you'll have seen it around every factory you've been in. People have one vice on a table and they have to get in and they put a billet in, then they come in with a probe to find out where the position is, then to relay that to the control. All of these things are things that this sort of system eliminates. The fact that the location points on the base plate, you know exactly where they are, means that you can put a part in there and the control's identified immediately where that component is. So all of that stuff is history.
Right, right. And to my understanding, even though they look quite small, they're very rigid, right?
Yeah, I mean, these clamps incredibly get over a ton in clamping strength and clamping force. And the pull down motion as well of the vice means that you won't experience any lift, which again is a massive factor, because there's lots of these systems that you'll have seen where they're using where you sort of stamp the outside faces to get that real gripping force. We don't need that here with a MicroLoc system.
That's amazing. That saves money on its own, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's different jaw types. So there's gripper teeth and the flat ones, as well as the machinable jaws, right?
Yeah, so you can opt depending on what steels you're cutting or what you're holding. If you've got irregular shapes, you can have aluminium soft jaws where you'll machine the profile and still generate that clamping force to hold the part. You can have serrated jaws, maybe if you've got a rougher material and you really need to get a grip on it. So they are options that are not only available but very easy to fit to the system as well and take a matter of seconds.
And looking in this machine, it looks like there's an added bonus where it's not just mechanical, but maybe hydraulics as well?
That's correct, yeah. I mean, here you see that they've got this wire, this hydraulically activated in the machine. So they are doing multiple components here. They've got 8 vice setups. They're doing 8. They're actually making the MicroLoc on the MicroLoc here, or the bodies of the vices, and they're using this in conjunction with an M code in the machine in order to basically, when it's finished, the M code releases the vices. They change the billets. M code again, bang, clamps it up. Still get over a ton clamping force, and you're machining. I mean, that's eliminating setup times as well.
That's amazing. I'm a big fan of making things more automated, right?
Yeah.
To my experience, we're seeing a lot of existing machines kind of maximizing the workspace and becoming as efficient as possible, which I think this probably creates that success as well, right?
Yeah, it does. I mean, you imagine if you wanted to get these 8 parts on a machine just using a normal sort of vice setup, you might have to go for a metre machining centre, which not only will probably cost you more money, but it'll take up much more floor space, which, as you can see where we are here today, you know, everything is tight. I mean, certainly here in the UK, I mean, in the States, I'm sure it's probably the same. I mean, real estate is an overhead, isn't it? If you can reduce that, it's better. So here, what you've got is smaller machines accommodating more parts, and as Gio would always say, you're presenting more parts to the spindle.
That's exactly right. And to your point of what you were just saying, there's a lot of other vice situations out there that are kind of big and bulky, and even if you can put multiple vices into the machine, it's still going to reduce the overall amount of vices you can get in there. With these being small, compact, hydraulic, and powerful, you can get a lot more work done given the work piece that's going to be going into the machine.
Yeah, and we always say this here throughout all of our channels, that the main thing is to keep that thing there going.
Right.
That needs to be spinning. I mean, I know it's not at the moment, so we can show the system, but the more you can keep that spinning by having more parts in here and spending less time in here changing those parts, which is everything that this setup is about.
Yeah, setup times are incredibly important. Reducing those, it saves a lot of money and creates an ROI. Speaking of ROI, what's the average setup price for something like this?
Well, something like this sort of setup here in sterling, you're probably talking £5,000 for a setup like this, not with the hydraulics. The hydraulics is different. You need to talk to MicroLoc about how they integrate that and the costs involved. But a manual MicroLoc system of this size, being able to accommodate this amount of components, would cost you about that. So you can convert that for the global audience as to, get the calculator out and times
do the math.
Do the math. Yeah.
For some of us who aren't good at math, we're going to get that calculator.
There you go. Yeah.
So I understand this to be quite popular here in the UK, other places like India and China as well. To my knowledge, we're looking for possible representation in somewhere like the US and Mexico, correct?
That's right. So, I mean, the thing with the MicroLoc system, it's been sold around, well, in fact, it was developed over a couple of decades ago, and they've been distributing it around the world, around Europe, all of that time. They're very, very satisfied at the moment with some distribution they've got around various areas of Europe and also in the Far East. However, the States is somewhere at the moment that they are looking for representation of this product, and the likes of Mexico too. So an opportunity for audiences that are watching.
Well, this is a great product, so I think it would be a huge success to some of the people that I know in the US, and we're happy to support it, here with MTD as well.
Yeah, good stuff. Now, and hopefully we can find somebody that's interested. I'm sure there will be, because there's a lot of opportunity in the States, especially with the amount of machine shops. I'm sure they're looking to become more efficient, and something like this, in the times we're in, rather than maybe adding another spindle, get more out of that one.
To your point earlier about, you guys can't see this, but we've had to do some real fun manipulation of where we're setting our cameras in order to create this type of space. To your point earlier, space is limited. Real estate is so important. So even if an added machine were something that was affordable and wanted, sometimes the space isn't available, right?
Correct.
In which case, something like this and upgrading your 3-axis machine into, there's trunnion systems that MicroLoc offer as well. There's tombstones that MicroLoc offer as well. So you can really take and upgrade an existing machine at a cost-effective price for you.
Absolutely.